What up, guys? Alchemist here, and I got something nice for you. This is the tankiest hunter build by far since Final Shape came out because of Gifted Conviction. If you don't know what Gifted Conviction does, it says activating Ascension or Tempest Strike throws bouncy explosives at nearby targets that jolt and damage them. Period. That's important. Period. Next sentence, jolting nearby targets grants you damage resistance. Putting the period there means that any jolt that I do, no matter where it comes from, it will give me a stack of damage resist. So that means Volt Shot, throwing a grenade that does jolt, an ability that does jolt, anything that does jolt, I will get damage resist from it no matter what, and it will continue to counter on resist, meaning I can get resist to ×4 with this build and keep the resist on non-stop as long as I'm still doing different kinds of jolts to enemies. I cannot do Ascension and then hope that I do Ascension again and makes the stat go up. I'll have to alternate with a grenade that does jolt or a weapon that does jolt, aka Indebted Kindness. So as long as you shuffling between Indebted Kindness and Ascension to do jolt, boom, you keep resist ×4 on you non-stop, and you got a 10-second interval each time to pull that off. Pretty simple when the game is throwing enemies at you non-stop. Pretty simple. Let's start off with the build first when it comes to the fragments and whatnot, and then I'll go more in depth into it afterwards, and I'll be throwing the numbers on the screen if I forget what the exact numbers are approximately. So first things first, we're using prismatic. I'm Marksman Hunter dodge to get my cooldown quicker because Gambler's dodge is longer, 38 seconds, while Marksman is 29 seconds. You're not really going to be using your shade step really with this build, so the shorter the cooldown, the better to make the build even quicker and more efficient. Triple jump don't really matter. Snare bomb. I'm using snare bomb because of the new artifact mod this season, where when you kill a weakened target, you get an overshield. So that's extra damage resist in this build. So now we got our source of where we're getting void overshield from. So we got snare bomb on, and it disorients enemies and weaken them. Like, it's a steal. Like, you might as well, right? The next thing we got is Dustfield Grenade. The reason I'm using Dustfield Grenade is because we're rocking the aspect Winter Shroud in this build. Winter Shroud in this build, it said defeat dodging slows nearby targets, but the second part of Winter Shroud says slowing targets briefly increase your class ability regeneration. The increase is like 300%, I believe, for 3 seconds. So the moment I throw this dust field at someone and it slows them for 3 seconds, I have 300% of increased class ability cooldown. So I throw this inside after I use my Ascension ability. I throw this at a group of enemies, slow them, and immediately get that 3 seconds of increased class ability to hurry up and get it back so I can spam Ascension again. That's the loop there. Now, fragments. First fragment using Foster the Hope. While you have an elemental buff, your class ability regenerates more quickly. This does not, I repeat, this does not work with Amplified. It only works with the other elemental buffs, okay? But don't worry, we got that covered, okay? I already told you guys, when we kill a weakened enemy, we get a void overshield. But we also have another fragment on, Foster of Purpose. When we pick up an Orb of Power, we get an elemental buff based on the super we're rocking. We're rocking Silk Strike. So whenever we pick up an elemental, a power Orb of Light, I'm a Destiny 1 user. Orb of Power, whenever we pick up an Orb of Power, we would get Wolf and Mail for 5 seconds. Bungie nerfed it, used to be 10 seconds, that's 5 seconds. Wolf and Mail give us 45% damage reduction. Okay, to keep that in mind, it's all stacking. We get the resist ×4, 50% from the chest piece. We're getting 50% damage resist with a void overshield on, and now we're getting 45% of damage resist from Wolf and Mail. Okay, but picking up that orb would give us an elemental buff for this Foster the Hope. Killing weakened enemies will give us a void overshield that stay on for 10 seconds, I believe, which also works for Foster the Hope. And we also got the other artifact mod on called Radiant Orbs. When we pick up an Orb of Power, we get Radiant, which also stays on for 10 seconds. So we got three different elemental buffs going on here for Foster the Hope. So you will be able to keep this proc non-stop as long as you're picking up an orb of power. Okay, which is very simple, very simple. This gives you a 60% class ability regeneration on your cooldown, so it helps you get back shade step for your ascension way quicker. Fossil protection. When we surrounded by enemies, we get damage resist. The damage resist on prismatic is 15%. I know on arc is 25%, I believe, but fossil protection 15%. And then if you go transcendent while you got this on, transcendent already gives 20% damage resist. So with that stacked with this 15%, it buffs it up to like 33%, I believe, 32%, 33%. So fossil protection gives even more damage resist. Also, while we amplify from ascension and our artifact, we get a 30% damage reduction from galvanic armor. While we amplify it, we get damage reduction. So that's another 30% of damage reduction. Our third fragment, Foster the Balance, rapidly defeating target with light damage, which would be our indebted kindness we got on us with Volt Shot, or any other arc weapon you have that does Volt Shot, especially the new raid bow that got Volt Shot on it. If you got you one, perfect. But you got that, and you got us killing enemies with Ascension that we're gonna be spamming all day. So every time we do that, that will give us our melee energy back quicker, aka our smoke bomb. That's why I say it's not a necessity to be rocking Gambler's Dodge, because we have different things, different gears in this build to help us get our melee energy back quicker. And then if we kill enemies with darkness damage, we'll get our grenade energy back quicker. Our super is darkness, and you can run a dark weapon in your primary slot, any stasis weapon or strand weapon, like Final Warning, for example. Our fourth fragment, I already touched on it, picking up Orb of Light. Orb Power give us Woven Mail. You could go Frost Armor, because Frost Armor stays on longer. Frost Armor gives 10 seconds instead of 5 seconds. But remember, you have to rack up the Frost Armor. So you're going to only start off with one stack. I believe one stack is like 4%, 3% damage reduction. The max stacks at 5 is 22.5% damage reduction. So it's nowhere near the amount of damage reduction from Woven Mail, but it's easier to maintain. You got a 10-second forgiveness window to hurry up and pick up another Orb of Light to keep that 5 times Frost Armor on your character. So it's dealer's choice, all based on preference. And you can use a Stasis Super, which would tap into your Winter Shroud even more while the tornado is out there freezing and slowing enemies. And they buffed up the Stasis Super for hunters, and it's really good for ad control. So if you want to do Frost Armor to give yourself more forgiveness, you're definitely able to. And I'll touch on the difference between the damage resistant on rocking Woven Mail and Frost Armor when I get to the armor mods. Positive Awakening, rapidly defeating targets with light or darkness damage or super final blow, generate elemental pickups of the matching damage type. This is very important. Not only do you get plus 10 with your resilience, because you want to rock 100 resilience on this build for the extra 30% damage reduction. Every time we kill someone with Ascension, it will make an Ionic Trace. Ionic Trace give every cool ability its cooldown. I believe every ability get like 10%. I think class ability get 15%. So making a lot of Ionic Traces just really help this build out to spam its abilities way quicker. And then the last fragment we're using is Foster Sacrifice. While you have an Arc, Solar, or Void buff, which we always gonna have amplified, picking up Orc give us Radiant, and then if we kill any weak enemy, we'll have Overshield. So we always have 1 and 3 on, especially amplified. Ability Final Blows, Ascension is an ability, always gonna be ability Final Blows, grant you Darkness Transcendence energy. So Ascendance is gonna be giving you a lot of light energy for your Transcendence, and then this fragment will make it that you don't have to worry about getting dark weapon kills. You can keep spamming your Ascendance in rooms to give you that dark energy, so you can get your Transcendence transformation to really spam your grenade and melee even more with your fast cooldown on your class ability. Alright, armor mods now. Helmet, you gotta rock an Arc Siphon, because you're gonna be having that indebted kindness on your hip. Okay, your Volt Shot weapon, you're gonna have it on your hip. You're gonna be using that mainly. So using this to make hella orbs of light for yourself will help you get armor charges quicker for the build, and Auras of Power for Weapon Mail and Radiant on non-stop. Other than that, you can rock a Harmonic Siphon if you're rocking a Strand weapon, so you can make Auras of Power for both of those weapons. Even if you're rocking a Stasis Super, then you know, Stasis weapon. If not, then you got 2 extra free slots on your helmet. If you're doing better energy, you know, conservation than me, then you'll have more energy than that to put on, like Heavy Ammo Finder, or yeah, basically that's it. Heavy Ammo Finder. There's no other thing else I would say put on in here. Well, Special Ammo Finder, because you're using your Dead of Kindness a lot if you're like me. But yeah, you got options in your helmet. Just make sure you're rocking a Siphon to make Auras of Power. It's very optional for you. Arm piece. I recommend using Momentum Transfer. Since your Dust Field Grenade do tick damage, it will be helping your melee cooldown come back quicker. Same through your class ability. Dust Field Grenade doing tick damage, helping you get your class ability back quicker. On top of the Winter Shroud aspect that's slowing the enemies with the 300% ability cooldown. So, that'll make you get your class ability back very fast. And I mean it, very fast. And then you got Impact Induction. Throwing your Smoke Bomb, it does take damage, which will also rack up your cooldown for your grenade to come back quickly. Chest piece, highly recommend at least having on melee damage resistance, since you're always going to be within like 40 meters of the enemies before you proc your Ascension. So you might as well get that extra 15% damage reduction while you're that close towards the enemies. And then stack that with any element resistance that based on the enemies you're fighting at that moment to get that extra damage resist from that element. Both of these together, if I'm fighting somebody using Arc and I'm close to them, that's a 25% damage reduction with these 2 mods on. Leg mods. We don't have no way to get health back with this build, so you need recuperation on. It's mandatory. And I will also say put on Better already if you're doing harder content, and take off Elemental Charge, so you pick up an Orb of Light, your health start regenerating quicker, and you get health back from that chunk of orb pickup with the Weapon Mail and the Radiant and whatnot. But if you're not doing harder content, keep Elemental Charge on. You will be making Iron Traces with your Ascension kills, so it help you get your armor charges stacked up quicker. And then I also got stacks on stacks on, so when I pick up a Orb of Power, I get 2 stacks instead of 1. In your class item, you will be rocking 2 utility kickstarts, so when you do use up the 4 armor charges, you will be getting 40% of your class ability back quicker. I forgot to say, in your chest piece, you can always take off the Arc Resist if you're doing easy content and put on Charge Up, so you can hold that extra armor charge stack I just said about having 4. So stats, I highly recommend you rock 100%, 100 tier 10 resilience for that 30% damage reduction. Other than that, 10 tier discipline, okay, so you get your grenade back quicker. And then I will spend the rest in recovery, so you can get your so your health come back quicker when you do get hurt. Like I said, this build you don't have any way to get your health back, so having that damage reduction, then your health start regenerating faster on its own, it's a plus. If you don't care about the recovery, then you can just spec into strength. Mobility, make sure your mobility is at least 50, no higher. You don't need to go higher unless you want to. Okay, I didn't distribute my points yet because I didn't change my arm. I just wanted to get this video out with the build to give to you guys. But I would definitely spec less in mobility. I have my mobility at 5, resilience at 100, discipline at 100, and then me personally, I'll try to pour as much as I can into recovery and strength, you know, between them. Reason I say you only need 50 mobility, when you're amplified, you get plus 50 mobility already. And since you're gonna be using Ascension non-stop, you're always gonna have plus 50 with that Ascension. You're always gonna have plus 50 with Ascension because you're always gonna be amplified non-stop using Ascension. And whenever you get both shot kills, you can get amplified back up, and amplified stays on for like 15 seconds. So that plus 50 with your 50 stat, you're always gonna be at 100. So you might as well not waste your stats into that. Okay. Weapons, you're always gonna be using Dead of Kindness, like I said. Me personally, I'm using a stasis weapon that can do slow because of the artifact mod Creep and Chill. So whenever I get a stasis weapon final blow against a slow or frozen target, it does slow to all the enemies in the area, which goes with my Winter Shroud aspect, helping me get my class ability back quicker every time I slow an enemy from 3 seconds of 300% class ability uptime. I also got on Shield Crush in the artifact mod, so whenever I got Weapon Mail, Frost Armor, or Void Overshield on, I get my melee back quicker and to do a little bit more damage, which we always gonna have whenever we pick up an Orb of Power. So we get our smoke bombs back even quicker, and then while we amplify, which we always gonna be because of Ascension or Radiant, when we pick up Orb of Light, we get Radiant. Our grenade come back quicker and deal more damage. Both the stuff we got on, melee and grenade, they don't do damage, they more utility. So we just care about getting them back quicker. So Shield Crush helps with that. And then we got Transference just to help it that we stay in Transcendence a little bit longer when we get weapon kills and whatnot. Not really there for the extra damage of the grenade and melee damage. But the Prismatic Grenade does do some good damage for Hunter with the slow and ignitions. And again, it's slowing, so when you throw that at an enemy, it keeps slowing them, letting you get your class ability back quicker for Ascension. So now you're getting your melee back quick from being in Transcendence. You're getting your melee and grenade back quicker already, and now you're getting your class ability back quick because of the slow that you're doing with your Prismatic Grenade, letting you spam Ascension while you're in there. So you just really spamming your abilities with this build non-stop. You can rock whatever heavy you want to rock for DPS. It really doesn't matter. Again, your kinetic and your heavy, it's all up to you. You just need a Volt Shot weapon on, and everything else is free for you. So if you want to put on something for like DPS, you 100% can. Now, the damage resist, I told you I will get back to it. Here go the numbers, okay? We're getting 45% from Weapon Mail, picking up Orb Power. We're getting 50% damage reduction from getting the Overshield whenever we weaken and kill an enemy. We're getting ×4 resist from our exotic chest piece whenever we keep jolting people. We're getting 30% damage reduction from galvanic armor. We're getting 30% from resilience from having tier 10. We're getting 15% minimum from melee damage resistance whenever we're close 4 meters close to an enemy. And then if it's just an enemy shooting a certain element at us, then that's 15% from there. If it's both, then that's 25% right there. Although damage resistance put together, I don't think I missed anything. All that put together literally gives you 96% damage reduction. I repeat, 96% damage reduction. Oh yeah, while you're in stat, I forgot the 15% you get from Fossil Protection, and then if you're in Transcendence with it, you get that 32%. So all that put together is 96% damage reduction. Now, if you decide that you want to do Frost Armor instead of Weapon Mail, then I would just drop the numbers down to 94%. So it's not that big of a difference. So if you really want to rock the Stasis Super, you can. It's not that big of a deal. Okay? I did not add the damage reduction from Transcendence in this math because I know you won't have it on 24/7. So I only left Transcendence at 20% instead of the max of the 32%. So it's an average. So it's higher than 96%, okay? But I know you ain't gonna be on Transcendence 24/7, so I didn't want to give a you know, something that's not like it's like improbable, you know what I'm saying? But 96% is the rounded number. It's like 96.5%, but 96% is the full damage reduction you get from this. If you end up rocking Frost Armor instead of Weapon Mail, it's 94%. Now, you can be crazier, and you can put on Navigator as your exotic, right? You can put on Navigator as your exotic weapon that gives you Weapon Mail and sever the enemy. And then you can put on a Stasis Super, right? You put on a Stasis Super that gives you the ability to pick up Orbs of Power, so you get Frost Armor. So now you got Frost Armor and Weapon Mail on. And if you do that together, you'll have 97% damage reduction. So you only go up extra 1%. It's like 97.3%. You only go up about 1%, which is not that big of a deal. But you will also be severing the enemies that's shooting at you, which will most likely make it that at that point the enemies are doing 0 damage to you. At that point, they can't do no damage to you. That's what it basically is. You also could be bold, and if one of these fragments you're not rocking with, you could put on Faucet of Solitude. So when you are doing rapid hits to an enemy, it does severing in a big area around them enemies. So if you want the enemies to do less damage to you, so you get that more power fantasy of they're not able to damage you, then you can put that fragment on to sever the enemies in front of you, so that they doing less damage to you, and you got a hefty amount of damage resist on you. Here go a lost sector, just to prove how the loop goes. I did use this in higher level content, minus 15 and minus 20. I also used it in day 1 raid, doing the contest mode or whatever, and it was helping me to stay alive. Ascension, I got resist times 2 down there. You always want to reload after you shoot, so you do some joke, right? Smoke somebody, kill them, get an overshield, reload, do joke. You see how resist still on me? Do that. I transformed the accident. I was trying to throw my goddamn smoke grenade. Not smoke, my dust field grenade. So this kind of ruined what I was trying to show you guys. This kind of ruined. I'm trying to get out of it. I'm trying to get out of it. Alright. Shoot, kill. Joke, that's another joke. Already got my clad bleed back again. Put that there. Slow. Since I slowed him, got it back again. Still got resist times 4 on me. Reload every time I shoot, so I get Volt Shot activated. Right? Pick up this. Already got my send back again. Spin. But that's how the loop would basically go. That's how the loop would go. And yeah, man, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Did y'all notice the uptime on my abilities that whole time? And it's getting even worse because I'm not even going like crazy on them. You know what I'm saying? I'm not spamming my smoke grenade like I'm supposed to keep the void overshield on me. You know? I'm not going as crazy as I should be going. You know? Let me show y'all. Let me show y'all a little bit. I already got the ability back again. Let me show y'all how crazy this can really be. Like, let me stop holding back, you know? On the traces, it's amazing. Tankiest and best hunter build to clear a room, right? So I hope this was a good demonstration for you guys. Again, I have used it in lower and high level freaking content. So have fun. It really does help out a lot. And I hope y'all enjoyed this. But before I go, I just want to say this. I do have a secret hunter build that I'm trying to create for you guys. But RNG Jesus have been doing me so dirty. I don't want to spoil it. But if you want to see this insane hunter build that I got coming in the future, make sure you hit the subscribe button. I am a hunter main, so if you're a hunter main yourself, I highly recommend you subscribe to this channel so you can get this secret sauce. I haven't seen any content creator make this build yet, but I need to get the exotic class item for the build. It's probably the most insane build popping up in my head, but if I get the exotic class item, I will leak the video for you guys so y'all can make this amazing hunter build. Hunters are the only ones that can make a build like this, bruh, this season. It's insane, bro. And I can't wait to make it for you guys. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. This video was amazing for you guys for a hunter build. And until next time, stay up.